had webinars on different scholarship programs. We've had a webinar on the Chevening, about 2 webinars on how to apply for the Chevening scholarship, and more webinars will be coming as these opportunities open up. So I'm very much delighted to have each and every one of us here. Can you just put in the chat box your name and where you are reaching us from, so that we can have a feel of the room and those who are participating? Welcome. We're so excited to have you today. So without further ado, because we don't intend to take so much of your time, we would be kicking off. And the good thing about today's workshop is that we have someone who is a scholar of this particular scholarship, and that's the Stipendium Hungaricum. And he is going to be talking to us about this scholarship and what it's like, and how you can access this scholarship and how you can put in a very strong application. And the person we have here, I'm going to introduce him in a minute, but let me just see how the chat is going. Emmanuel, we're very happy to have you. You're very much welcome. I see we have 2 Emmanuels already. Eze Chioma, you're also welcome. Chooks, you're welcome. For those of you who don't know my name is Ifeanyi Ohanyere, and I am a personal development enthusiast. I'm also a watchman. And today it's my delight to have in our midst Chiedozie Odazie, and he is a scholar himself, and he's also a beneficiary of the scholarship that we'll be discussing today, which is the Stipendium Hungaricum. Chiedozie, are you there? Can you say hello to everyone, just to confirm that
Hello.
You have no problem speaking? How are you doing, my brother?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm happy to be here again.
It's a delight. It's a delight. So I studied with Chiedozie in Ghana. We were in Ghana together, so it's quite interesting to catch up with him and hear about the wonderful things he is doing now in Hungary. Before we jump into the conversation or the crux of what we are here for, how is Hungary today? How is the weather? How is everything there?
It's cold. I'm actually in the city of Debrecen, and It's about 3 degrees here now. So
wow.
we've gotten into the winter and we're adjusting with the environment, and we're also rounding up school activities. So it's been fine so far for the year.
I see. Here it's about 6 degrees. So you people it's colder where you are. Yeah, I looked at the news yesterday and I saw that somewhere in Canada there's about 32 minus 32 rather, minus 32 degrees. So there are levels to this. Exactly. Anyways, you are very much welcome. So I'm going to yield the microphone to you now so you can run us through your presentation, and afterwards the floor will be open for question and answer. Is that okay? All right, fantastic. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'll just, before I share my screen, I will just, okay, it's actually disabled sharing screen. Okay, I'll just go ahead and talk actually. And so my name is Chiedozie Odazie. I'm currently a master's degree student studying mechatronics engineering at the University of Debrecen in Hungary. I'm a beneficiary of the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, which is also a bilateral scholarship with the Nigerian government. And previously, I had my undergraduate study at Accra Institute of Technology in Ghana, which is an affiliate university of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I studied. I was also the third best charismatic student in my department, and I was the best foreign student in my department also. I thank God for how He has led me thus far, and I want to start from a point of, we've talked about how that it is a campus series where we have the agenda to actually reach to the ends of the earth with the gospel. And one important thing is for us to note that in everything we do, we must find out why we want to do it, right? Because say when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable, right? So having understood the vision that we have as watchmen and even as believers, mandate from our Lord Jesus to go out to the ends of the earth and preach the gospel, that's part of our agenda of moving or of trying to further education to have the best possible. Okay, thank you, Bro Ifeanyi. So the point there is for us to understand that you need to find out why do you want to actually have a postgraduate study, or why are you looking for a scholarship, if I should put it that way? Why do you want to go ahead to study abroad? We know that in our country today, a lot of young people are looking for means to leave the country. There are challenges here and there, but it's the why that is going to keep you going at the end of the day. You need to ask yourself why. There are a few reasons why. You want to access quality education. You want to better yourself. You want to tap into the wealth of knowledge in advanced countries and bring it back home to develop your society. You also want to further the gospel. These are part of some agendas that someone can have, especially as a believer, for seeking for scholarships, So I'll just go ahead to share my slide. It's a brief slide. Part of most of the content of this presentation will be on how to go about the scholarship and understanding the scholarship in context. But briefly, I'll just share my slide with what I have there. Just give me a moment. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Fantastic. Yes, we can.
Yes, okay. We can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So this session, we're just going to have introduction, talk a bit about scholarships, how to apply, and then conclusion. But it's more like a generic content. The slide is not so deep. It's more about the scholarship that I'm going to talk more about. So first of all, what's the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship? It's a scholarship that was formed in 2013 by the Hungarian government. It's a bilateral education agreement scholarship where they have partnership with countries. They have partnership with about 90 countries. The agenda is to further the culture of the Hungarian people and also to understand the culture of other countries and to make accessible quality education and increase their academic and research community. That was the agenda behind forming this scholarship. And so far, they run about 600 full degree programs covering higher education of all fields. And one good thing about this scholarship is that it's also available for bachelors. So if you just finished your WAEC, you can actually apply for this scholarship. But there's an age range to it, actually. So it's available for bachelors, masters, and there's what they call OTM. Now, one-tier master is actually a program where you can run your bachelor's and master together. So take, for example, architecture. I know that program is available in OTM. You can run from your bachelor's to your master's degree. So you're graduating with your master's degree. That's called one-tier master program. And it's also available for PhD programs. So it's an initiative from the Hungarian government. If you know the country Hungary, it's actually a country in Central Europe, not so significant. So they're trying to make themselves, feasible in the eyes of the other communities. Generally, what's a scholarship? We know what a scholarship is. It's a fund for higher education or even for elementary education. So I'll just go ahead and talk about some things on scholarships. The advantages, like I said earlier, you spend less or nothing on formal education. You have access to quality education. You have access to international opportunities. I've had the opportunity to intern at one of the most global banks in the world. I mean, it's mind-blowing to have access, the opportunities you have access abroad. And this is irrespective of where you're coming from, your race or culture. Once you are able to deliver, I mean, you have the opportunity. Another point is to expand the gospel. That's our agenda as believers to the ends of the earth. Wherever you are, you're a light to your generation. And here we know our agenda in Isaiah 49, 5 and 6 to be a light to the Gentiles. And then some misconceptions about scholarship. Scholarship is for the rich. That's not true. Scholarship is not for everyone. That's not true. Scholarship is for the most brilliant. That's not true. And scholarship is for the best applicant. Actually, I would say scholarship is for the person that knows how to apply best. That's the person that gets the scholarship, knows how to fulfill the requirements, knows how to prepare for the interviews, and knows how to, submit a very proper application. That's the person that gets the scholarship. Nobody knows whether as long as your scholarship, you see the requirements and you match them, you are a candidate for that scholarship. So there are scholarships where, okay, you have a tutu, it's available for you, and they have that, requirement. You fit in there. Count yourself as someone who has the possibility to get that scholarship. And I'll talk about how to apply. I'll go detail in that one. But how to apply, there are two sides to this, scholarship. I'm going to talk about that. But briefly, before I go into that, I just want to talk about what you need to do before you actually start applying for scholarship generally, which it will also apply to this scholarship. First of all, know yourself. Do a SWOT analysis of yourself. I know that you've heard about this before, but I'm just emphasizing it again. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know the kind of scholarships you can get. Personally, I was someone who I didn't want to write this IELTS, I didn't want to write GRE, I didn't want to write many of those exams. So I'll use the word sieve. I sieved through scholarship opportunities, looking for those that would not necessarily need this requirement. And those were the ones I channeled my effort on. Prepare necessary documents, try to get your documents. I know in Nigeria it can be difficult to get original documents of WAEC, transcripts, depending on your level of education. But make it a goal to get these documents as soon as you finish. One thing that was something I was privileged to have or to get earlier. My transcripts, my certificates, my WAEC, I have the originals. And then start early, know when applications open, check LinkedIn, make use of online platforms, social media, Facebook and the likes, build networks. Like you see me and my brother way back from Ghana, we're still in touch. I think this is like his third master's degree now. But I mean, we're still in touch, we're still, communicating, and there are a lot of opportunities we share with each other. Some of you are on the platforms where we share these opportunities, and pray. I can't hide that out. Pray, know God's purpose for your life. Remember in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, the thought he has for you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Know what God's purpose for your life is. Someone will ask, why Hungary? I can tell you, if I'm going to share my story, and you will see that it's divine, there's God's hand in it. It's not just, oh, let's just leave the country. Yeah, we have that desire, but then having direction is much more important than speed. We've heard that before. Then be determined, never give up, right? Never give up. This was my second time of trying the scholarship before I got it. And I can say 3 times, but the first one was actually for bachelor's, but I didn't choose Hungary. I chose some other country, But for master's, it was my second time, and it was just divine. In fact, I sat in my room and something told me this was your school, and I selected the school, and that was how I got the scholarship. To apply in detail, we will go to this link. These 2 links, or I would say 3 links, are important for the application process. So, speaking about the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, like I said earlier, it's a bilateral education scholarship. And when you hear the word bilateral, it means there are 2 or more parties involved. So there's the Hungarian government involved and there's the Nigerian government involved, or depending on your country, in case you have other nationalities here, that depending on your country, that's also involved. So you apply to the Hungarian side, you also apply to the Nigerian side. And what happens is that you have to meet the requirements of both the Nigerian side and the Hungarian side. And the Nigerian side acts as a sending partner. As a sending partner, they nominate you for the scholarship. And you also have to then be prepared for the interviews at the other end of the Hungarian part. What am I saying? I'll share my screen again. This time I'll share my browser so you can see in detail. Just give me a moment. So, okay, let me talk about it before I go in detail how to apply the scholarship. Please confirm if you can see my screen here.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. So provisions covered by the scholarship. This scholarship for the bachelor's, master's, and the one-time master's and non-degree programs. You are exempt from tuition fees. You have monthly stipend of 43,000 HUF. That's about 103 euros every month. Then you have accommodation contribution. If you are in the dormitory, you won't be given this contribution. But if you are not, like someone like me, you'll be given a stipend in lieu of for not being in the dormitory. Then you also have access to medical health insurance, where you have access to full health care. Also for the PhD candidates, theirs is quite different. They have access to about 331 euros for their stipends, and they also have access to dormitory or contribution towards the dormitory and their medical health insurance. And then the good thing about the scholarship too is also at the Nigerian side, there are also some benefits, which I will still come to that. Now, speaking about the scholarship, for you to find out your sending partner, if you go to this link, partners, you will be able to select and know your sending partner. And our emphasis here is Nigeria because, most of us are Nigerians. And then if you go to the link and you click on partners, I hope you are following me. If you click on partners, which I just do that now, it takes you to another link to confirm your sending partner. Now you just type in your country. I'll just put in Nigeria here. And when you put in your country too, at this point, you'll be able to know the courses that are available, because there are courses that are unique to each country also. That's the thing about this scholarship. So for Nigeria, we can see the sending partner, the name of the responsible authority, the Federal Scholarship Board, which is under the Ministry of Education. And this is representative, this is their email address, the website, telephone, and the address. So for Nigeria, for bachelor's degree, these are the areas of study that are available. Not every area of study is available. We have computer science and IT, we have economic science, we have engineering science, we have health science, and even teacher training programs. The another thing I forgot to mention is that there are non-degree programs actually, where people can study like music, art, teacher training and the likes. So there are such opportunities available for this scholarship. For master's degree, we have legal sciences, we have economic sciences, engineering sciences, just like myself. We have medical and health sciences, teacher training and arts. The full degree one-time master's is for medicine and health sciences. Then they have the doctoral studies, which is for computer, IT, and the likes. So these links will be shared on the platform, but most of the information you can get them on the link. So now, how to apply? First of all, you need to find out the schools and the courses that are involved. When you go to apply, you'll be able to see the call for applications. In this document, you can find every information you need on how to apply for this scholarship. So actually, I'll just be doing a kind of summary here tonight, because every information you need is in this document. I've downloaded the document, I'll just open it. So for someone who is thinking of going to study bachelor's degree, your requirements are your WAEC, basically. That's what you need to apply. Every information is available about the scholarship in this document. And for bachelor's degree, the full duration is 2 to 4 years, depending on the program. You'll be awarded a bachelor's degree certificate. For master's, it's 1 or 1 to 2 years, depending on the program and the institution. For one-year master's, 5 to 6 years, depending on the program and the institution. For non-degree programs, it's about 1 year. And for postgraduate specialty courses, about 1 to 2 years. It's a long document. This also talks about the provisions covered by the scholarship. We've spoken about that. This talking about the sending partners, the list of countries that they have partnership with. Going down, you will now see as some of the study requirements for English languages. Yes, and that's the good thing about this scholarship. As long as you've studied in English, you don't need to write an English proficiency, but it's still dependent on the university. When you select a university, you need to also find out what are their requirements for your application. And still in this document, this is the application timeline. For now, the scholarship is opened. It opened on the 15th of November, yeah, and it's still available till the 16th of January. And after that, there are a lot of procedures that we go on: technical assessment, selection point, submitting medical certificates, notification about results, and then visa process and application. We'll also come to that. So basic documents needed: the online application form, which I will still show us via the link. You have to apply online, uploading all your documents. You upload your photo, has been taken not less than 2 years. Then your motivation letter. This is also very important. I will also talk about how to write a good motivation letter for this kind of scholarship, depending on your program. Then proof of language proficiency. Like I said, once you show that you studied in English, if you're going for a master's, undergraduate was in English, that's okay. Even as someone going for bachelor's, our studies in English in Nigeria, so it's just enough to declare that. And your school certificate for bachelor level, scanned copy of your original secondary school graduation certificate and the equivalent. So depending on your country and what it's needed. For us, we know it's WAEC. For master level, is your certificate and your transcript. For one-tier masters, your graduation, that your secondary school certificate also. This for transcript of records. You have to submit your transcript, especially if you're going for a master's degree. Your transcript is very, very important. And also a copy of identification document. You need this, your passport. You need it in terms of your application. And the good thing about the portal is flexible, that you can actually, there's a deadline to upload this thing. You can submit your application and be considered up until a certain period. I think sometime around August next year. If you're selected, you can now upload your, let's say you don't have your passport yet, but it's advisable to get all your documents ready, prepared to apply. For someone like me, I submitted everything from the beginning because I didn't want anything to, check me out. In fact, like I said earlier, it was the second time I was trying. So the first time I didn't submit the medical certificate. I felt like, okay, that was what happened. So the second time I made sure I submitted everything during the application. So there's a statement of application you accept. It's also on the portal. They just included it here as one of the requirements. And then the medical certificate, yes, coming to this, it's just like, for some of us who have done NYSC, like a certificate of, fitness, not really of satisfactory health condition, basically, show that you're healthy. And it involves some tests. I think you will do for AIDS, you will do for hepatitis, then, also for COVID. Now that we have COVID, it's also good to know that you don't have COVID. These are the results you can attach to the medical certificate. And these are basically the documents you need to complete this application. This is talking about missing documents. That's documents you don't have, and you have the deadline to upload them until 1st of August the following year. So it's quite flexible, and you need to submit your application on or before the 16th of January, 2 p.m. Now, going to the application system, that's apply.stipendium.hungaricum. When you go to this link, it will take you to the application platform. Now, in this application platform, you'll be asked to log in. I've logged in now. I'll just, let me sign out for that. So it takes you to this platform. And the good thing here now is here on this platform, you can find out the cost of study and the schools that are involved. Let's just use for an example. We want to browse institutions. In Hungary, there are many cities with various institutions. We have Bayer, Budapest. This is my city. I'm in the city of Debrecen. This is my university. So take, for example, you want to go to University of Debrecen. And just to give an advice, this is like the most international university in Hungary. The acceptance rate is very high. If your course of study is in this school, I advise you to select this school, honestly. But there are many factors that can, I would say, influence your decision to select a university. The city, this is not the capital city, obviously. The capital city in Budapest, cost of living, the interaction with the international community. It depends on what you want in your university, and then also your program of study. But most programs are offered in this university, especially medicine. It's one of the universities that offer medicine in this university. So you begin to search and apply. Here you can type the program you want to apply. Say you want to study, let me see, mechanical engineering, for example. you can just find it, and you will see universities. You can select, you can filter the selection. Now we're talking about academic year 2023 and 2024. We'll just check only that box. Let's say I'm going for a master's degree. I'll just check for master's. I don't want to study all this language. I just want to study in English. I select for English. I want a full-time degree. I select, then I find programs. So you will see all the universities that offer mechanical engineering or related courses. You can see mechanical engineering, you can see mechatronic, you can see chemical engineering for University of Debrecen. If you want to check for another university also, you can select, or I can even click search all institution. You see the results will be different now. You will see about 20 results. So there's University of Miskolc that offers mechanical engineering. This is another city in Hungary. There's Széchenyi István University. There's the almighty, if I should use that word, Budapest University of Technology and Economics. There's Obuda University. There's University of Dodanivaros, depending on where you want to go to. So you can click on this to get more information, check about the city, check about life there, how the programs go on and everything that's involved. Check if the content of the study is what you would like to do. That's another important thing to check. There are different specializations in this, study. For example, now the field is engineering, manufacturing, and construction. This is still under mechanical engineering. Another school may have other, specializations. You see the entry qualifications. Here you say you can enter if you have, some schools will say you must provide English proficiency. Some will say if you studied in English, it's okay. Then these are also list of countries that can apply to this program. You can see Nigeria is part of it. This for Esvos Roland University. This university is also in Budapest, yeah. And so, say the English minimum A-level proficiency, you need to provide at least 2 references. These are other requirements, depending on the school. This is the university site. You can click on it, you can check. This is the overview of the program. It's also important to check all this because during your interview, you'll be asked, why did you choose this university? And this is actually where you will get your answers from, because now you've done your research, you know about the universities. So if you're still with me, we are still talking about how to apply. So to apply now, you go to you sign in /register. At this point, this is where you fill in your details. If you're a new applicant, you fill in your information, you'll be sent a link on where you can begin your application. And in your application, you will need to put in some information. Let me just log in my own profile. My profile is already complete. Like I said, I tried earlier in 2019, 2020. This was not, I wasn't selected, but then I tried again in 2021 and I was selected. So I'll just show us how it's like the portal. So you have your profile where you put your personal information, your name, your age, and all the information you need, your contact address. This is actually, so you put about your education, your level of education, languages, your employment, if you employ, your activities, your residencies, everything, your motivation letter, you also include here your checklist and other documents, So that's it for the Hungarian side of the application, yeah. Then, like I said, they have sending partners, and we saw here that the sending partner for Nigeria is the Federal Ministry of Education. And if you go to the Federal Ministry of Education website, or even from this link where we selected Nigeria, yeah, you can see that the website is available there. If you go to this website now, education.gov.ng, you will see the advert for this scholarship on the Nigerian government website. This is the bilateral education agreement, scholarship. When you click here to get more information, you will see the requirements also from the Nigerian side for this, scholarship. And this scholarship, it's under the Federal Ministry of Education, where we have scholarships to Hungary, Egypt, Venezuela, and Morocco and Russia. So after you've applied to the Stipendium portal, you will need to apply to this portal. And while selecting the number of countries or the country you would like to go to, you will need to select Hungary, because that is what will prove that you have also applied to the Stipendium Hungaricum portal. And that's what will make them nominate you or consider you for the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. For undergraduates, these are the requirements. You have about 7 distinctions, A's and B's. You must not have finished at least by 2021. You must be between 17 to 20 years. That's for undergraduate. Then for postgraduate, the requirement is that you must have at least second class, upper, or a first class degree, and you must be between 35 years, at least 35 years for, at most rather, 35 years for masters, and at most 40 years for PhD. You also need to have your NYC or exemption certificate, and you have your evidence of readiness to release by employer if you're employed. General note for applicants, this will also be closing on the 6th of January. So this one even closes before the stipendium on. The stipendium on closes on the 16th of January. So you need to complete the online application and put your certificates and your documents. You also need to upload them. If you click on apply now, it will take you to the website where you need to create an account, and this platform is pretty much easy. You can just create an account and upload your documents needed for this scholarship. So moving on, after you've done your applications, right? Stop sharing my screen now. After you've done your applications and you've submitted on both sides, the next step would be to wait for. You need to understand that it's still one scholarship here. It's not 2 different scholarships, although you apply to 2 different platforms. I hope that's clear enough. So you need to understand that the Nigerian side have their selection process. When I previously applied in 2018, they had a test they would undertake for both masters, bachelors, depending on your level, and probably an interview. But like I said, I didn't make it at that point. But when I applied in 2021, that was last year, there wasn't any test. So it depends on the Nigerian government as to how they want to make their selection, But one thing you have to understand that we have this mindset of, okay, it's Nigerian thing, they put their people. No, don't have that kind of mindset. I didn't know anybody applying to this scholarship, right? I just applied. And like I said, I felt led to complete my application. So don't put it in mind that, okay, these people, they are going to select their people and all that. You never can tell, I don't, or this year we don't know the criteria they will use, if they will set an exam or they will do an interview, but at the Hungarian end, when you're selected at the Nigerian end, right, and then they transfer your name to the Hungarian side will confirm if you also have your application completed in that platform. In fact, if there's any application you should complete, make sure you complete that of the stipendium. I'm not saying you can do without one. No, you must do both, but make sure your application at the stipendium end is very, very perfect, if I should use that word, because that's very, very important, and that's key. Because let's say you're nominated, right, and then you don't have a good profile at the Stipendium Hungaricum side, that's a problem for you. So after this nomination process, which will be around February, March, after the nomination process, you'll be invited for an interview by the Hungarian side. So if Nigeria, the federal government decide to do, a test, or however their selection process is at the end of the day, you just move over to the Hungarian side. That's the only hurdle you need to cross. Once you're nominated, the whole procedure is handled by the Hungarian government and the institutions. So what happened at my time is that when I was, nominated, so my profile moved to the universities I selected. I selected the University of Debrecen. So very funny, and it's actually a testimony. Initially, I wanted to put the Budapest University of Technology and Economics as my first choice because it had my program, Electrical Engineering Masters. The University of Debrecen did not have Electrical Engineering Master, but they have it in bachelor's. So they had Mechatronics Engineering. So I had selected University of Debrecen as my second choice. But something happened. Before I would complete the application, the university sent me an email that I should complete my application. And I was like, I'm looking for scholarship. You guys are telling me to complete the application. So, but when I saw that email and I opened the application, something just made that to me that this is your school. honestly, it's very something I can't miss out when I'm talking about this scholarship story. So I quickly put University of Debrecen as the first choice, and then brought Budapest as the second choice. And mind you, this application procedure, it's noted like it's something that they take point of your first choice, your second choice. They consider your first choice first before your second choice. That's one thing they do. And so as God will have it, at the end of the day, I wasn't given admission to Budapest University of Technology. And you need an admission before you can be considered for the scholarship. So it's really divine how the whole thing happened. So, but the interview process now, so I would need to do an interview for Debrecen. I also need to do an interview for Budapest. At the end of the day, you can end up getting admitted in your both universities. You can end up getting admitted in one, but your first choice is actually considered before your second choice. In most cases, they also still take your second choice if you didn't get in your first choice. But just endeavor that whichever university you choose as your first choice, ensure that you get an admission there. So during the application stage, the interview stage, for the University of Debrecen, the good thing for master's program, there's no test, it's just an interview. But for Budapest, University of Technology and Economics, and some other universities, they are both tests and interviews for master level and also for bachelor level. But for University of Debrecen, there's test and interview for bachelor level. But for master level, and I think for PhD level too, there's no test, just interviews. So for the master level for University of Debrecen, as per my experience, I was asked a few questions, one of which was to tell them about yourself. You know, they had your profile open and they had your motivation letter, which was also called statement of purpose. So you need to also know what you have written there. You need to know why you want to go and study in Hungary and in that university. So I told them about myself and how that I had finished school and I was working and all that. And also they asked why I chose the program. I made mention of how it was related and what I wanted to do and how it connected with my bachelor's degree. So during my final year thesis, I did something in robotics, and mechatronics is largely related to robotics. So I explained that was part of my motivation of choosing that program and how it connects. Basically, the connection is very important. And that question was why I chosen Hungary and the university. And I did my research. One thing I noted was that they did about 47% practicals and 33% lectures or thereabout. So I noted this point. That's why it's also important to research about the university you're applying. From the website, I noted the things that I knew stood out for me for making me choosing that program. The labs, they have partnerships with industries. We have actually industries who have labs in the university where you can make use of equipment that on a normal, you may not get it, or you actually need to pay more to access them. In this university, you have license to, softwares and the likes. So these are some of the motivations that made me to select the university, and that was part of my response. And then they asked me about my future plan, how you want to finish your master's and what you would like to do next. So these are questions to take notes in the interview just after you're nominated. For Budapest, the test was more related to my field of electrical electronics engineering. You have to go and brush up yourself. If you're someone that have graduated for a long time on, digital circuits and the likes, depending on your field, if you're in law, you need to brush up yourself in your study. And the good thing is there are test questions. Like before the actual interview day or the test day, you have test questions you can use to prep yourself for this test. If you're eventually able to pass a certain stage of a certain score in the test, you'll be invited for an interview. I didn't get to that point for the university, but thank God I got, my University of Debrecen. So in a nutshell, that's what it's like. And then when you're admitted, after the admission, because these interviews are coordinated by the institutions themselves. After they've selected their candidates, they push it to the Hungarian government and say, okay, these are candidates. And then the Hungarian government selects those based on their relationship with the country, select those who are, qualified for the scholarship. So in a nutshell, this is how the scholarship works. And I think that's it for now. I think when people ask questions, I'll be able to, shed more light on other things. Thank you very much, Borifani. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was quite comprehensive. So at this point, I would like to open the floor for questions. So if you have a question, just so that it can be orderly, please raise your hand or put in the chat box, and then an opportunity will be given to you. But if you are not speaking, please keep your mic muted. I see Emmanuel Ekechukwu has his hand up. Please, can you unmute your mic and ask your question? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, very fine, and good evening, Chido. It's good hearing from you, and you've done well to explain the whole process. But I have a few questions. So for me, I am a HND holder. One is, are there room for us to apply, or are there other things that we have to do to upgrade the HND to be able to apply? That's one. And then number two is that I processed my unofficial transcript from school, because we have the official and the unofficial. While applying, can I make use of the unofficial transcript for this process, or do I have to use the official one that my school sent to, the Hungary University for this application? And then, then you mentioned of evidence of, how I put it, readiness to be released by the employer. What do you mean by that? I need a little clarification on that. I think that's the questions I have for now. Thank you very much.
Okay,
right,
thank you very much for the question. Are we going to take more, or I can go ahead to answer?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, so for the first one, as a HND holder, you actually need a bachelor's degree for this scholarship. That's the requirement. So you need to upgrade it to a bachelor's degree for you to be selected for a master's program. That's the requirement. Then for your second question, when you you can apply with that at the application portal, but make sure that before the deadline given, I think some was in 1st of August, and also before you come to the country, make sure you have your official documents, because they're going to verify all these documents at the end of the day. So even if you have the originals, it's scanned copy you upload, right? So they don't have the originals. But even when you go for your visa interview and other stages of this, you need to go with your original. So at the application stage, you can use the unofficial transcript, but eventually ensure to get the originals, or if your school will send it across to the agency or the organization that needs it, either it's the embassy or the school, please ensure that you do that. And lastly, for the documentation needed for release of employment from that's if you're employed. That's on the Nigerian side. Let's say you're employed and you want to go for the scholarship. So they're asking you, hope your employer is allowing you to go for this program. You're not just absconding from work. So that's what they mean by that document. If you're employed, if you're not employed, it's not something to worry about. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for answering those questions. But I just want to chime in here. For those who have HND, I think when Bro Chido was going through the scholarships or the opportunities that are available, it wasn't just limited to masters and bachelors, right? He also talked about teacher training. So maybe Chido, if you want to touch on that, so that they can see the full range of opportunities that are open under this scheme.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for that, Bro Ifeanyi. And someone even wrote in the chat, what of non-degree programs? So yeah, it's actually, if you're not going for a master's program, you want to go for, let's say, postgraduate diploma or programs that don't actually give degrees. When we talk about degree, we're talking of bachelor, master's, PhD. Yes, they are valuable for you. Even the teacher training program, there are programs that are having 6 months, 1 year. So that document, I'm going to share it on the platform. I think most of us are on the Telegram platform, but I'm going to share that document there. It contains the details of the programs you can apply and what the requirements are. So that is true. There are other programs that you can apply for that may not necessarily be masters or bachelors or PhD program. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I see in the chat someone's asking about the platform, and Victoria has responded to that. So the link is in the chat, and for benefit of those who would be listening to the recording afterwards on YouTube, because this is on YouTube Live, the link to the chat would also be in the comment section, so you don't have to worry about that. Thank you. So on that note, I don't know if any other person has a question, because I have a question I want to ask that I feel would be beneficial to everyone. Okay, someone is asking, can someone also apply for undergraduate program?
Yes, you can. I mentioned that earlier, but there are requirements to that. But the undergraduate program is for those between 17 and 20 years. It's quite a very dicey requirement, and you must have A's and B's in your WAEC. So it's quite very competitive at that level, undergraduate level. So yes, but then it's competitive. Someone also sent a direct message here to get my number. I would share my social media handles at the end of this so that you can connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I think that will be too better. And I'm also on the platform. I mean, you can ask your questions there and I can reply you.
Fantastic. So my question now is, for those who are interested in applying, how feasible do you think it is between now and when the scholarship would end? Like, what's the process like? Do you feel like it's a rigorous process or something that is quite straightforward if they have all their documents to submit and apply?
Okay, so if you have your documents, it's pretty straightforward. And even if you don't have all your documents, you can still apply. That's the good thing about this scholarship. So they understand the challenges that students have to get documents, and original ones at that matter. So they have deadlines to submit these documents, even the medical certificate, even your passport. If you don't have your passport yet, and also your original, especially your certificate. But if you go to that platform and you begin your application, things like your bio data, you have those things at hand, things like, what you've studied, your history, basically, education history. You can submit all those documents. And even with the scanned document that you have, you can upload them there. It's pretty much straightforward, but ensure that you meet the deadlines for uploading these other documents. If not, you will not be considered, because there's a technical check that will be checked. But the truth is, I feel that if you have already, like I said, the last time I applied, between then and the second time I tried again, I had everything ready. And all the technical checks were completed before the nomination. But it's pretty straightforward. You apply the Hungarian platform. It's something you can do within minutes. It shouldn't take up to an hour to complete the application if you have your documents at hand. And then at the Nigerian platform, it's pretty much easier to do that. It's just to upload documents and also submit your application. I didn't talk about the motivation letter. Maybe after the questions, I can talk about that.
Fantastic. I think this would be a good point to segue into that. Maybe you could just touch on the motivation letter and what people should look out for while writing a motivation letter, particularly in view of the Hungarian scholarship.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll share my screen again. So I'm going to share the motivation letter I wrote for this scholarship. But please, let's take note. The plagiarism is real, so don't just copy. Take note of plagiarism, please. Don't just copy. But basically, I was applying for mechatronics engineering, right? And I asked myself, why do I want to study this program? And then I looked for the connection between my bachelor's and my master's, the master's I want to study. And then I also looked at the theme of the scholarship. Like I said earlier, it's a bilateral education scholarship, right? And they want to foster relationship between countries. You also have to note what you're bringing to the table as a foreign student, how you're going to improve their diversity, and what you're also going to learn. So I started by saying, okay, this is what mechatronics is about now, the evolution of artificial intelligence, robotics, computing sensors, and the likes. And I went to hint that I desire to contribute to economic development using mechatronic systems. I'm confident I can acquire required knowledge and skills through this program. This is my introduction. This is my first step, telling them what I want to do. And I went down to connect it with my bachelor's. How that I enjoyed my undergraduate studies in electrical engineering, graduating top 3% with first class honors. These are the skills I had gotten. After that, okay, my thesis was on robotics. After that, I've also worked, yes, I worked in the banking industry, but how does it connect? I was in the IT team and I connected that with what I wanted to do. Furthermore, I went further to get, skills by taking online courses, develop myself in cybersecurity, cloud computing, and I'm confident that my technical and soft skills garnered over the years will make me excel in this program. I'm telling them why I'm the best fit for this program. I went ahead to explain how the program will also be beneficial for my country because it's bilateral, it's relationship. You're coming from Nigeria, how will this thing improve your country? I noted that Nigeria is lacking infrastructure, especially power supply, internet, and information technology. And I understand how these factors hinder national development. So I know the impact mechatronics engineering will contribute to improving these challenges in Nigeria. And I believe that a postgraduate study in mechatronics / electrical engineering, because my second choice was electrical engineering, will help me gain knowledge and critical skills that upon completion, or applying the knowledge to the industrial sector of the Nigerian economy. Then lastly, I went to state in terms of the diversity part, in terms of the relationship part, like I noted, it's part of why they started the scholarship. They want a diverse community. They want to sell the Hungarian culture. They want to also see your culture. So I also noted that studying Hungary will pose a challenging experience due to their language and culture. Yeah, though I'm learning English, I still have to learn a bit of Hungarian. And then, but the beautiful thing there is that I'm also from a diverse culture and I'm bringing my culture to your culture. And there's going to be like interrelationship. And I firmly believe that my desire for success and invaluable experiences and international exposure that I will gain from this study will equip me as in my career as a future leader in the industry. You can also go ahead to conclude by saying that you want to further, in PhD, depending. So it's like a train of thoughts. First of all, you're introducing yourself, why you want to study this program. And then you're telling them the need for the program, why you need this skill. And then you're going down to tell them how you've been prepared for it. And then you're finally concluding by telling them the contributions you will make by studying this program. So that is, I would say, the procedure, writing a very good statement of purpose or a motivation letter, showing your motivation for this, scholarship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Quite an interesting framework there for writing a motivation letter. So I just want to stress again that you should pay more attention to the framework than the content itself, because if you have a good understanding of the framework, you can always write a motivation letter regardless of whatever course you are studying, regardless of whatever program or even whatever university, because mainly they're just trying to find out why should they choose you. They don't know you. It's based on what you say about yourself that they can pick you, right? So you just want to put your best foot forward there. So that's quite interesting. Please keep your questions coming. So Emmanuel is asking for you to rephrase the framework. So he said you should have an introduction. You should have, you should state the need for the program. Also state your level of preparedness. And also what contributions would you make based on the knowledge you gain from that. So what's the next step after this, right? And also talk a little bit about them and why you are choosing them. So if you cover these 5 things, I think you are generally fine. Yeah. So please keep your questions coming in. we should not take too much time. In 15 minutes, I think we should be done. But I still have a couple of questions for Chedozie. Regarding the structure of the program, I understand that different courses will have different structures, but how long is your master's degree program going to be for? Or is there like a generic timeline? So here in the UK is 1 year. What's it like in Hungary, and how should people expect the program to be like taught courses, research, or how is it?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. So it depends on the program here. Generally, for a master's degree, especially in sciences, it takes about 2 years. But for other arts and humanities, like I know in my school, for law, it's 1 year. For public health, it's 1.5 years. So it depends on the program and the school. But most science programs like engineering sciences are mostly 2 years. And this program, it's coursework intensive and also with research. It's a master of science, not just master of engineering for me in sciences. So there's coursework which leads up to a concluding thesis, where you write a thesis report before your graduation. And then there's also a state exam. This state exam, every person studying mechatronics actually have to write this exam. It's like a general exam before you are awarded the degree. So I started in 2021, September. I'm actually in my second year, but first semester. So there's 2 semesters in the year. Between September to January is 1 semester. From February to June is another semester. And then that's how it works. So I'm my first semester of my second year now. So in this program, taking my program for an example, you have coursework. You have to complete about 120 credit hours of course study in the program. And you also have to complete an internship between this program. So that's how it runs. And this internship can be done in the summer, and also there are credits for it. In the previous there was not a credit, but now they've included credits. So it depends on your school largely, but generally in Hungary, a master's degree is ideally 2 years for sciences. But for arts and humanities and other medical sciences, it could be 1 year, it could be 1.5. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So a couple of questions just came in the chat. Chima is asking, what edge does this scholarship have over others like the Chevening? So what's unique about this scholarship? Ikem is asking, is English proficiency certificate a necessity during application? Chima is also asking about what the monthly stipend is like. If you could answer these questions, please.
Okay, thank you very much. So for the first person that asked about the edge I would say over other scholarship is it's less competitive in terms of, the PTTF, the Chevening, we have a lot of people there. I tried the scholarships too myself, and they are quite, competitive there. And another thing is about understanding Hungarian culture and also getting a degree from the European Union. One thing you have to notice, Hungary is quite a hidden country, but it's part of the European Union. You getting a degree in Hungary is as good as getting a degree in Germany, Sweden, any of these European, anywhere you take it to, it's accepted. It's in the EU, it's the same program. You can even transfer, let's say you're studying in Hungary, you can go to Germany and continue. I don't know if you know about the Erasmus program. People come to have Erasmus semesters in my school. People also leave, probably have Erasmus in some other schools. So the advantage there is that the quality of education you get in any European country, you get the same in Hungary. And it's less competitive, and they take quite a number of students, actually. For depending on the relationship they have with the other country. For Nigeria, I think they take about 100 students. So you can imagine. So it depends, but within these 100 students, it's both bachelors, masters, and PhD. depending on the number for the year based on the agreement. So English proficiency is not a necessity as long as you have previously studied in English. That's another advantage that you have, in this country. And also in terms of stipend, yes, that's where I know people's eye will be there. It's not as like the PTDF or Chevening that pay so much, but you have, like I mentioned, you have about 130 euros per month. But the good thing about the scholarship also is the Nigerian side, they have stipends for you too. So you're actually receiving stipend from both ends. The Nigerian government pays about 500 USD per month for their scholars in this country. So you're receiving stipends from the Hungarian government, you're receiving stipends from the Nigerian government. So that's I would say the advantage you have for this scholarship in Hungary. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So someone asked if English is a requirement, English proficiency certificate. So he mentioned earlier that it's not a requirement as long as you are trained in English, and you should also look out for the particular school you are going for. Some of these schools have their own particular requirements, so you should check the schools first to confirm. So Emmanuel is asking, which scholarship can one with HND apply for that has less competition like this one? So what I can say to this is that with HND, you can still apply to this one. It just depends on what you are applying for, right? That's the first thing. Secondly, it's on a case-by-case basis. I think a few years ago, the government of Nigeria officially, will I say harmonized the HND and the BSc degree, such that if you come out with HND, like it's also seen as a tertiary degree. So if you can make your arguments, I'm the kind of person that the way I say things is, I have to justify why you should have me, regardless of what you say. It's better you try and they say no than you just not trying at all. So on grounds of that, maybe you can follow up and find out, because I don't really know what exactly is the case. Sometimes when the government puts out these things, there's no follow-up and then it just dies like that. But if you can justify it, I think you are fine. You can push your application. In terms of other scholarships, I don't know if Chido want to speak on this point I just made. In terms of other scholarships, there is a site I put on the platform where you can filter out different scholarships based on the level you're looking for and based on the country you want to apply to. Maybe after this call, I can flag that again so you can look and see all the different scholarships that are applicable. Thank you.
Okay, before we take other questions, I'd like to throw more light on what you said. The truth is that, like you said, don't rule yourself out. One of my academic mentors will tell you, knock on the door and let it be that they did not open for you. Don't just say you won't go to the door. They may end up opening for you and accept what you have. So you can try to apply, but then again, I don't know if you've heard of West evaluation. It's not what this scholarship is about, but it's also something you can do with an HND, or even you got some diploma. If you do a West evaluation, it's accepted almost worldwide as a bachelor's. So if you have a West evaluation, you just submit that as your bachelor's and your transcript, and you're good to go for any program with your West evaluation. And the good thing about this scholarship too is that there are other non-degree programs, like you mentioned. You may not necessarily want to go for a master's. You may want to go for a non-degree program that may take 6 months to 1 year, and you have opportunity to apply for those programs also. Yeah, thank you.
All right, very good point you raised there on the West evaluation. It's something that people do a lot and they have success. So another question here, just give me a minute. I want to know if they have application for medicine and surgery, and is it totally free? Thanks. That's by Honora Collins.
Okay. Yes. In fact, that is I would say the advantage too. You find it very difficult all over the world to get scholarship that will give you medicine study. That's one thing about the scholarship too. I think they recently included it. It wasn't part of the agreement before, but they recently included it. I think we saw it on the website to medicine and health sciences. So you have opportunity to study medicine for free. Yes. You have the opportunity.
Okay, that's good. So I was asking, can someone who just finished WAEC apply for this scholarship?
Yes, in fact, that person is the best candidate for the scholarship for the undergraduate level, because your WAEC, like the requirement we saw, should not be more than 2 years old. So people who wrote between 2021 and 2022 are available, but then there's an age requirement of 17 to 20 years. So once you fall into this category, in fact, you should quickly apply for the scholarship, quickly.
Okay. So there is a saying that the opportunity of a lifetime must be taken within the lifetime of that opportunity. So those who are still young can take advantage of this before time becomes a factor. So someone is asking, what does the application process take? E.g., medicals, do they require a recommendation from a church?
Okay, so for the medicals, it's just from the medical institution, like, from the hospital. You just need a doctor to certify that you have good health. And then there are some tests you attach to, like I said, in that document, which I also share on the platform, you see the tests you should take: hepatitis B, AIDS, and one other test like that. So you attach the result, and then you also have to do an X-ray and attach the result of the X-ray, to the medical certificate. So you have a certificate certifying that you are healthy, and then you have this test result attached to it. You upload all of them, and then you're good to go. Just go to a medical institution and have those tests done and get that certificate. And that's that.
Yeah, just to follow up on that point, I know that if you're applying to institutions like embassy and consulates, there are particular healthcare facilities that they would require you to get your testing from. So for this scholarship, are there particular ones, or is it open to general hospitals and private hospitals?
Okay, my best advice would go to government hospitals, because the Nigerian government is involved. So if you go to government hospitals, they more recognize that than not. So go to government established institutions, medical institutes, to get your certificate. And yeah, I forgot to add, the person who asked for recommendation from a church, no, actually, there's probably, maybe you're mixing it. There's another scholarship by the Hungarian, Christian Fellowship, but that's not what this institution is about. It's not that scholarship other people can try. The scholarship that is for Christians, that's another good thing about this country. It's, we are under the auspices of the Watchman Campus Missions, and the Christian community here is good. They have scholarship for Christians, youths who are Christians. You actually get a recommendation from your church. That's a different scholarship altogether. And that scholarship, it's something you can also try. Yeah.
All right. So please, when that one is open, maybe I crave your indulgence to share that with us so that people can also take advantage of that opportunity. I think I've seen something like that before, but thank God you mentioned it again. Okay, so I cannot see any more questions. I want to assume that we have all asked the questions that are pressing, but in the event that you still have a question, we can just give like 2 minutes for you to ask questions, and then we can call it a day. Favor is asking, please, what's the name of this particular scholarship?
This is the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. I can see some questions here that it means someone is asking the requirement of applying for medicine and surgery with BSc biology. So basically, the medicine and surgery, it's more like you're just fresh from WAEC, yeah, you have a bachelor's, it can be an edge for you, but it's mostly part of the one-term master's program, because medicine is a long program, and it's really part of the one-term master, but it's a program for people who are just leaving secondary school. If you have a BSc biology, fine, you can bring it up that you have that, but the requirements are based on the institution. So you go to like one school I know that offers medicine and surgery. There are two schools I know, my school, University of Debrecen, and then one West University. These are the universities I know that give full-time medicine. So you need to go to the university to find out what their requirements are specifically. I may not be able to give every information on that. Then someone is asking if a NECO result is accepted. From what I know, it's why result that's accepted for this scholarship. Thank you.
Okay.
But
Yeah, bro Chidozie, before we close, I just want to ask that you share your screen again and show just briefly where people could go if they want to get more information. And the recording is going to be there. We've touched on some of these things, but just for the benefit of those who joined late, can you just show people where they can get more information about the scholarship and also the schools that they could apply to, or where they can go and find information for the schools that they want to apply for?
Okay, I'll do that briefly.
All right.
Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
So when you go to apply.stipendium.hungaricum.hu, which is the website currently showing on my screen, at the left-hand side, you can see the list, how to navigate the website. So here you can read more about the scholarship by going to the Stipendium Hungaricum profile. You can read more on the scholarship, what's involved, download documents, find out. Here you can find out about the partners when you click on partner. And if you go back to the apply, you can see browse institutions. When you click on browse institutions, you can search based on your program, or based on the city, or based on the schools that are available for this scholarship. Just give me a moment. When you click on browse your institutions, you can see the cities of the country. Like the example that I did, for example, I'm in Debrecen. If you want to search based on city, you can just click Debrecen, and it will show you the universities in that city. Some cities have more than one, like Budapest have up to 16 universities. You can search individually. You see this university now has 15 courses, 3 departments. This has 80 courses, 8 departments. These are 13 courses, 12 departments. So depending, you can even study things like I said, there are non-degree programs like dance, arts, music. These are also available for this scholarship. So when you go to your city, you can find out the courses that they offer. One-term master. Look at medicine. Yeah, I was right. Medicine is part of the one-term master because it's a 6-year program. There's pharmacy, there's dentistry. You come out with a full degree studies. So this is what's obtainable in the Stipendium website. Like I said, I will share the link on the platform. And once you go there, it's pretty much just like your browsing. It's pretty much accessible. If you have other questions, you can ask them, and I will answer. Okay. Someone is asking if the scholarship covers flight tickets and visa. Yes, it does. It does. In fact, you have VIP treatment. They'll take you to the embassy, you have your interview, and everything is covered. Everything is covered, especially for Nigerians, because it's based on the agreement your country has with the Hungarian government. So from the Nigerian end, your visa, your flight costs, they are covered.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is asking, okay, you want to take the questions, I can just read them and answer.
Okay.
Okay, I can see Ms. Vera is asking, what of PhD in nursing? Is Ghanaian considered? Yes, Ghanaians are considered. So you will need to go to the link to find out. Okay, let me just go to that link now and see how we can find out. Say for a Ghanaian, the courses that are available. So we go to partners. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
It's loading in a minute.
Okay, so we just go to Ghana, right?
Sorry, we can't see your screen yet. It's load. Okay.
It's lagging, eh?
Yeah, we can see now.
You can see it now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I clicked on partners on the Stipendium Hungaricum website, and I'll just select a country, and I will select. She asked for Ghana. I will select for Ghana. Sorry. So for Ghana, you can see the courses available for doctoral. Yes, so PhD in nursing is available. For doctoral studies, any field of interest. So you see the agreement between the Ghanaian government and the Hungarian government is a good one. For PhD, they have any field of interest. So what you will need to do now is to go to the institution website and find out which school can offer me PhD in nursing. I think University of Debrecen has that. Let's check. So we just type nursing. So let's search all institutions for nursing for doctoral studies for this year, 2023-2024, studying English. So let's search. So we can see that Budapest University of Technology and Economics offers. No, this is civil engineering. Maybe I didn't filter this properly. Specific for nursing. That's not what I'm looking for. Result from it. So we need to do a thorough search to check the institutions that actually offer this program. It may not be in the name that we are searching for it.
Yeah. Sometimes keywords help.
Yes.
It may not exactly. It could be
midwifery
health,
or something.
Exactly, or health sciences or something.
Oh.
And then you can now specialize in nursing. Since it's particularly since it's doctoral studies, it will not always appear
as it is. So I know that they are about, okay, this for specific, they search all institutions, find programs. We have about 79 results. So there are many doctoral schools here, the doctoral school of natural science. If we go inside now, we may now see a specific, field. There's School of Biological Sciences, there's School of Health, depending on the school and the department. So it's going to be a long search to specifically look for nursing, you understand? So you just go to this website, filter in for doctoral studies, select all institutions and search. There are about 79 results. I believe that within them, you can find the closest to nursing or nursing. And the good thing is that from the end of, Ghana, is that you can do PhD in any field. So that's the advantage you have already. that
The
you
better
can
deal than what Nigeria
exactly
has.
than what Nigeria has. So that's the advantage you have. We still have
Okay.
some questions here.
Yes, so someone is asking, I think that should be our last question before we wrap up. Someone is asking, after being shortlisted, is there going to be an interview? If yes, is it physical or online?
Yes, there's going to be an interview, like I mentioned. It's going to be virtual, which is online, because the institution is interviewing you to know if you're best fit. So it's an online interview about your qualification for the program. And someone asked if you can work while studying. Yes, you can. The students are entitled to 24 hours working, hours for during the school periods per week. But when school is out of session, you can actually work full time this summer. So it's a good one too.
Okay, sorry I missed that question. I don't know if there's any other one that is in the chat that we haven't responded to before we close.
Someone said she didn't hear the answer about NECO result. So from what I know, WAEC is the one that's accepted. For NECO, I can't confirm. You may need to go and check another thing is to check the institutions. These institutions, they are under the Stipendium profile, but before you select your universities, check it. Honestly, you heard about my testimony, how that the other university didn't give me admission. I know of a friend who he was nominated, but the two schools didn't give him admission. So he couldn't get the scholarship. So you need to also select a course that you can pass the interview, because for some of us that left school 3 years ago, before we are going for masters, you have to do a lot of revision before you actually prepared for an interview. So like I said, for Debrecen, it's just an interview. There's no test. But for some other schools, you need to write some tests, and we know our level now, and we know European standard. So you have to be very, very prepared. Yes, thank you.
All right. So one last ask. I'd like to ask if people can reach out to you, and what's the best platform for people to reach out to you if they have any questions regarding the scholarship.
Okay. The best platform to reach out to me now will be via email and LinkedIn.
Okay.
That will be the best platform. I will share that. Let me just share my screen for that.
Okay.
Email and LinkedIn. That will be the best. Although I'm on the Telegram platform, but to reach out to me personally will be my email and my LinkedIn platform. So this is confirm if you can see my screen. I cannot guarantee WhatsApp. So my email and LinkedIn, or even Facebook, you can send me a chat there.
Okay. Okay. All right. On that note, I'd like to appreciate you for coming and for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And for everyone who has spared a couple of minutes to listen, I want to appreciate everyone for coming in, and I hope you got value. My only charge to you is to take the information that you have received and work with it. There is no time. Just put in your best and keep trusting God and praying. And there's no reason why you should not be a scholar, and why we should not even have you come to talk to others on how to get access to these opportunities. I'm trusting God that many people would take advantage of this and become successful. On that note, we have come to the end of this webinar. So for now, it's bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ifeanyi. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kochido.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you richly.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.